Today, crypto marches higher as investors digest the first rate cut from the Fed in 4 years. Binance says it's seen a huge uptick in crypto interest from companies and professional investors. And Crypto World heads to DC to attend a major crypto rally and talk to executives from Coinbase about the conversations they're having with lawmakers. Welcome to CNBC's Crypto World. I'm Brandon Gomez. Crypto prices getting a bounce this morning, just a day after the Fed cut interest rates by 50 basis points. It puts an end to the streak of 11 interest rate hikes since March of 2022, and investors in both crypto and on Wall Street are buying on the news. By noon Eastern, Bitcoin jumped to the $63,000 level, and Solana soared a whopping 12% to $143. Crypto-focused stocks like Coinbase and MicroStrategy also got a boost today as stocks rallied across the board. Okay, let's talk about our top stories for the day. The SEC has settled charges with DeFi platform Rari Capital and its leaders. The agency claimed that Rari and 3 of its co-founders misled investors and acted as an unregistered broker through the operation of 2 blockchain-based investment platforms. The SEC said that at its peak, the firms collectively held crypto assets worth more than $1 billion, and the Rari offered unregistered securities through its earn pools and fuse pools. The complaint says Rari and founders falsely told investors that Earn would autonomously rebalance their holdings into the highest yield-generating opportunities. The firm and its founders settled the charges without admitting or denying the allegations and agreed to permanent injunctions, undisclosed civil penalties, and more. This is yet another action in the SEC's push to crack down on the crypto industry. Chair Gary Gensler told CNBC yesterday that there is a lot of clarity for crypto regulation, despite calls from the industry for more. Next, Binance's CEO says the company is seeing a wave of demand among institutions for crypto. Richard Tang was at Token 2049 and told CNBC International that the company has seen a 40% increase in onboarding among institutional and corporate investors. Tang didn't mention specific firms, but it does highlight the growing adoption of crypto among the mainstream, and also faces a turnaround for the company, which faced that massive $4.3 billion fine from the U.S. regulators back in November of last year. Tang said the company pivoted from a founder-led model to one led by a board of 7 directors. Last, Stand With Crypto held a rally in Washington, D.C. last night with conversations from big names like Coinbase's CEO Brian Armstrong and a performance from the Chainsmokers. Crypto World's Mackenzie Sigalos was on the ground in D.C. for the event.
On Wednesday night, Coinbase-backed lobbies Stand With Crypto wrapped up a bus tour to battleground states Arizona, Nevada, Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania to sign up voters. The cross-country trek through swing states culminated in a rally and after-party in Washington, D.C., with Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong headlining the event. Between online and in-person efforts, Stand With Crypto says they've signed up more than 120,000 people through its voter registration tool so far. Armstrong told CNBC he's confident the crypto voter will help decide the election in November.
1 in 3 voters have said that they're going to consider crypto in terms of who they vote for. And so the crypto voter has become a major part of this election now.
Stand With Crypto is all about reaching out to the crypto community. A big purple bus adorned with America Loves Crypto made its way across the country, specifically through swing states, in order to get out the vote ahead of the presidential election. A mix of crypto enthusiasts showed up on Wednesday night, with many supporting both Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump for the White House.
If you look at Fit 21, one of the bills that came to Congress earlier this year, the people who voted for it in the House were on average about 10 years younger than those who voted against it. And so Kamala Harris is kind of in that cohort of younger folks.
If Trump wins, and it's a win, the regulations are all going to change, things like that. If Harris wins, it's probably a draw. You're going to continue to have the repressive regulatory regime that you have right now. There's really not much indication of any change with that.
Others said that they cared a lot more about down ballot races, since those winners would be the ones to decide crypto policy on Capitol Hill.
Presidential election aside, I do look at sort of the down ballot, and I think that's really where the legislation is made, and this is what this PAC is all about.
And then some people, well, they just turned up for the band.
What brings you here tonight? The Chainsmokers. Are you thinking about crypto as you think about who to vote for in November if you're going to participate in this election?
No.
This election cycle, we've really seen the crypto industry show up in force by opening their purse strings to PACs and candidates. Crypto companies account for nearly half of all corporate money contributed this cycle, outraising both big oil and the banks. Collectively, crypto businesses plus individual industry donors have contributed more than $190 million to the 2024 election so far. Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong has personally given over $1.3 million to a mix of PACs, including the pro-crypto bipartisan Fairshake and J.D. Vance for Senate Inc., as well as directly to Democrats and Republicans running for both House and Senate seats. The exchange's chief legal officer, Paul Grewal, who's been battling SEC Chair Gary Gensler in court for over a year now, has attended at least 2 Trump fundraisers, including one in Nashville, on the sidelines of the biggest Bitcoin event of the year. Many in the industry say that the November election is really a make-or-break moment for crypto. This event is really one of the first big efforts we've seen by the industry to match all that monetary enthusiasm by mobilizing the crypto voter.
All right, for our main story, McKinsey also caught up with Coinbase's Chief Policy Officer Faryar Shirzad to hear more about the work the company is doing to engage with lawmakers on the national stage.
Hey, welcome.
Thank you. Good to be here.
So I hear you have a big event happening on Wednesday. Tell me more about the Stand with Crypto culminating event happening that night.
So the crypto community are working very hard to organize the 52 million Americans who own crypto to get them to be a force in this election cycle. And so standwithcrypto.org, which is this extraordinary grassroots organization with 1.4 million advocates, has been on a 5-state bus tour, essentially working to rally and organize the crypto voters in 5 important swing states, register them to vote, and that event is culminating in Stand with Crypto Day here in DC on Wednesday. Brian Armstrong, the CEO of Coinbase, will be a part of that, and we're really excited to kind of bring the crypto voter to their elected officials.
And how do the numbers look so far? Have you been getting a lot of people registered to vote at these swing states?
It's unbelievable.
Events?
So we started about a year ago. We very quickly hit the 1 million mark of advocates. We're about 1.4 million advocates at this point. We're continuing to add numbers to them. The amount of grassroots organic interest that we've seen has been extraordinary. And so we're Stand with Crypto, which is an independent organization. It's got a pretty sophisticated get out the vote operation. We've got emails, text numbers, and reaching these people just like any other campaign would to get these people to come out and vote. And it's a really, really exciting opportunity to show that the crypto community is broad-based all across the country and ready to be heard.
And I've been covering this industry for several years now, and a lot of people say that they're single-issue voters. So if a politician is in favor of the industry, then they have their vote regardless of their position on other parts of their platform. And I guess my question to you is, do you think that we're going to see voters show up in force from the crypto voting bloc in a way that we haven't in past cycles? And is that a product of just really pushing to get this voting bloc registered and in the game?
So we've done a lot of surveys of the crypto community. Others have as well. What we find consistently is that they are a large demographic. They actually skew younger, a bit more urban, a bit more diverse than the general population. But we've found consistently is the crypto and digital assets, or forwardness on digital asset, is a factor that they'll consider in how they end up voting. And so what Stand with Crypto is doing is to taking this voter group and ensuring that they turn out and making sure they're educated on where the candidates stand. And so we have a lot of conviction as a community that we think the crypto voter will be decisive. We have enough advocates registered with Stand with Crypto that make up the differential in the 2020 presidential election. So we have that in a couple of states. As we add numbers, potentially there'll be other states as well. So it's really extraordinary, given how razor thin the margin of victory was in the 2020 election, to see crypto not only be an issue, but potentially a determinative issue in terms of the presidential cycle.
And this is something that I've been especially interested in, because so much of crypto becoming a big part of the narrative in the 2024 election cycle has been related to the amount of money being raised by corporations and by individual donors that are connected to the crypto industry, and not as much focused on whether we'd actually see these crypto holders come out to vote. And I guess my question and you got into some of the stats that you've done, some of the studies that you've done in terms of how engaged this voting bloc is, but in the primary election cycle where you had pro-crypto super PAC money involved, it was something like 36 out of 42 elections were won. Mm-hmm. But where that money went was toward ad campaigns that were very traditional. It didn't mention crypto. It was what you would do, your usual political jabs against the opponent. And while it was successful and while crypto money was involved, it wasn't necessarily the issue of crypto that swayed voters. Do you think that that will start to change, that we'll see politicians very openly embrace crypto as a way to win, whether it's in public television ad campaigns or in other ways, really trying to channel to this community that they are working for them on Capitol Hill?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, the industry and the community are using a variety of tools to be heard in this election cycle. So for sure, there's a super PAC, and that's actually been very impactful. As you said, the record of success that it has had has been extraordinary, not only in the actual outcomes, but the fact that you've got a huge number of candidates now who found their voice on this issue, who are putting themselves on the side of digital innovation and economic freedom, which I think is really powerful. But crypto itself as an issue has actually been important too. Like in the California primary, which got a lot of press attention, for sure there was a lot of effort by the super PAC to get involved and do the messaging that they did. But Stanford Crypto did, I think, something on the order of 18,000 door knocks where they identified households that had interest in crypto or were crypto forward in some ways. So it's really kind of a broad-based strategy, and we feel quite good about where we are at this cycle.
Now, on the other side of this, of course, the money that's being raised this election cycle, around 190 million when you count individual donors and corporates. Coinbase, a big contributor to Fairshake, which is the bipartisan pro-crypto super PAC. Essentially one of 4 companies that comprise the vast sum of donations. Brian Armstrong, CEO, has independently donated to a mix of candidates and PACs. How important was it this election cycle for Coinbase to get involved and really open the purse strings to candidates and to PACs to influence elections?
Yeah, I mean, I've been at Coinbase for 3 years, and one of the things that we discovered about a year and a half ago, or came to a conclusion, is that ultimately the only way to get the politics out of crypto was to build our own political operations so that we could counteract the politicization we've seen from the critics of crypto. So you've got people on Capitol Hill who talk about raising an anti-crypto army and driving the industry offshore, essentially ceding American leadership in digital innovation to the Chinese or God knows who. And we needed to respond, and so we built a pretty comprehensive strategy. We feel quite good about where we are, but the ultimate goal is not to bring politics into crypto, is to take the politics out of crypto. And I think the degree to which we can neutralize the politicization of the crypto issue and talk about it on the merits as an issue of American national security and an issue of American leadership and an issue of jobs, I think that's ultimately in everyone's favor. And that's why we've been so pleased but not surprised by the bipartisan uptake that we've seen today.
So Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump has really worked to brand himself as the pro-crypto candidate for president this election cycle. It is a complete departure from his stance when he was in the White House. You've also had conversations with the vice president's team, and you said you spoke pretty positively about how those interactions had gone. Said that there had been multiple meetings. Can you tell me more about those conversations that you've had with the vice president's team?
Yeah, we've been very pleased with it. So there are a number of folks who are deputized by the vice president who've reached out to us and given us an opportunity to talk about the crypto issue, and we've been very heartened by it. But obviously, you have one candidate on the Republican side who's been very forceful in sharing our vision about the potential that this technology has to democratize finance and make it work for the American people. But we've been very encouraged by what we've heard from the Harris team, and we think with continued conversation, and as we get the community more activated, we're hoping that openness and constructive approach that they've taken becomes much more tangible into real sort of policy action. But one of the vice president's lieutenants actually came on the record and said that they intend to be very constructive on the crypto issue, and we really appreciate that, and we know that everybody's in a different stage in their journey of understanding this issue, and so we're pleased to have the opportunity to talk to them about it and share our thoughts.
All right, that's all we have for Crypto World today. We're back again tomorrow. We'll see you then.